Hi, howdy, hello, and welcome back to our video tutorial series for Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. This video covers everything you need to know about magic. These spells can be very powerful tools in combat, and this tutorial will have plenty of tips and tricks to make the most of them, so let's get to it. There are 7 types of magic in all, and each spell can be upgraded twice over the course of the game. Most magic spells can be used to damage enemies in combat, but there are also spells for restoring your HP and increasing your defense against enemy attacks. Some spells can even be used in different ways outside of combat. Before we review each spell, here's some general advice on how to become a true wizard at spellcasting. If you want to save a lot of time when casting magic, assign spells to your shortcuts through the main menu. You'll find this setting under Customize. Select Sora and choose which spell to assign to each of the 3 button options. Then, whenever you're in the field, hold the shortcut button and press the button next to the spell you want to cast. This is super helpful for when you need to quickly cast Cure or any other spell without the hassle of navigating the entire menu. Whenever Sora casts magic, a portion of his MP bar is spent. Each blue segment of the bar counts for 1 MP. The smaller yellow segment will refill as you strike enemies with the Keyblade. Each time this yellow bar fills completely, it'll restore 1 blue MP segment. The MP Haste ability increases this refill rate, and the MP Rage ability lets you regain MP each time you take damage from enemy attacks. Each party member can learn these abilities through leveling up, but Sora will learn them at different levels depending on the dream weapon you picked at the start of your playthrough. Selecting the Dream Rod gives you an extra MP segment at the start of the game, and it gives you the earliest access to MP Haste and MP Rage for Sora. Your MP will also refill whenever you pick up the clear bubbles that drop from defeated enemies. Equip the Jackpot ability to have each enemy drop more of them, and equip the Treasure Magnet ability to automatically pick them up from farther away. Equipping more than one of each of these abilities will boost their effect. If you still find yourself running out of MP in combat, you can use an item to quickly restore some or all of your MP. Ethers can be purchased from Donald's Nephew's item shop in Traverse Town, but you'll need to find the higher quality items in treasure chests or synthesize them in the Moogle's workshop. Outside of combat, standing in any save station will fully restore the party's MP. It's always a good idea to save your progress when you come across one anyway, as this game does not have an autosave feature. Goofy will learn the MP Gift ability when he reaches level 42, and it's an absolute lifesaver when it comes to using magic. This ability lets Goofy spend 2 of his MP to restore 3 MP for another party member. And if you unequip all of Goofy's attack abilities, he will only use his MP for this purpose. This is great for making sure you or Donald can cast Cure when MP starts to run low. If you have 1 MP to spare, you can summon Bambi during combat for a huge refill to your MP. Every time you make contact with him, he will drop lots of MP orbs for you to pick up. The power of each magic spell is determined by Sora's maximum MP, so if you want to really power up your magic, equip a keychain and any accessories that increase Sora's MP stat. Several magic boosting keychains will become available after you complete more worlds, and magic boosting accessories can be crafted in the Moogle's workshop in Traverse Town. You'll earn a few from defeating bosses and opening treasure chests too. Your base MP stat will also increase over time as Sora levels up. Most of Sora's magic spells take a moment to go into effect, and these spells can be interrupted if you're struck by an enemy attack during that time. To help prevent this, try performing a short jump before you cast magic. This shortens the time it takes for each spell cast, and it allows you to recover more quickly if you end up getting hit. You'll need to be a bit precise with how high you jump. Releasing the jump button too early will cause you to land before you finish casting. This technique is often used by speedrunners, but I think that casual players can benefit from it with a bit of practice. And speaking of magic practice, you can visit the Magician's Lab to practice your magic spells outside of combat. This becomes available in Traverse Town as soon as you meet Merlin for the first time. Talk to him and choose Practice Magic to visit the lab. Then talk to him again to choose settings for how you want to practice. This is a great way to get a feel for how each magic spell works without having to worry about enemies or running out of MP. When you're ready to move on, just talk to Merlin again. Locking onto enemies when casting certain magic spells can change where the spell appears and how it behaves. We'll cover this topic in more detail later, but for now it's important to know that each offensive magic spell has a specific range. If your targeted enemy is too far away, the game will not allow you to cast certain magic spells on it. You'll have to close the distance until the spell can be selected from the menu. Now we'll review how to use each type of magic spell and where you can earn upgrades for them. Just a heads up that there may be spoilers for late game worlds and boss fights at the end of each video section. Fire is the first type of magic you'll learn by playing through the story. Casting this spell will send out a ball of flame that can hit a single target. It'll usually move toward the nearest enemy in range as it flies, and if there aren't any enemies around, it'll just fly straight forward. Locking onto an enemy will cause the fireball to track more intensely. If your target is airborne or below you, you'll need to be aware of your spacing. If you're too close, the fireball won't track up or down fast enough. Each cast of fire consumes 1 subunit of MP, so you can use this spell often without much cost. Assign fire to a shortcut and keep pressing your shortcut button to send out a non-stop barrage of fireballs. You can also incorporate quick casts of fire into your ground combos. Fire magic has pretty good range to it, making it great for staggering enemies from a distance when you don't have time to strike up close. There are a couple of fights where you can use this method to prevent your target from healing themselves. Fire magic can also be used to destroy breakable objects and light fires outside of combat. When you light the fireplace in Traverse Town's accessory shop, you can see smoke coming from the chimney outside in the first district. You can light the campfire in front of Pooh's house too. If you do this after clearing Pooh's swing, Pooh will give you a mithril. These metal platforms in Halloween Town can be lit with fire magic and used as shortcuts between areas. I've made a full list of all the places you can use fire magic this way on the KHGuides website. The power of your fire spell is based on your max MP, and the spell's base power will increase each time you receive an upgrade for it. Donald teaches Sora fire magic after defeating guard armor in Traverse Town. This gets upgraded to Fyra when you defeat Jafar Genie and Agrabah. And Faraga magic is given to you after sealing the keyhole in Hollow Bastion. Blizzard magic is next in the command list, but the order in which you learn new spells will vary depending on the order in which you play through each world. This spell sends out a group of ice crystals that spread outward in front of you as they travel. While it doesn't have as long of a reach as fire magic, it has a much wider area of effect, and each of the 7 ice crystals can hit a different enemy, making it very useful in damaging multiple enemies that are grouped together. When you're locked onto an enemy, Sora will face that target when casting. Otherwise, he will cast Blizzard out in front of whichever direction he's facing at the time. Each cast of Blizzard consumes 1 subunit of MP, so you can use this spell pretty frequently. Casting this spell from a jump will give you the maximum spread for the ice crystals, and as mentioned earlier, alternating between jumping and casting will allow you to send out more Blizzard spells in a shorter amount of time. This technique works really well for staggering groups of flying enemies, like the annoying air soldiers. If you cast Blizzard from the ground, the 2 bottom crystals will instead be sent out parallel with the other lower crystals. Here's a clear look at the 2 formations. Each of the 7 ice crystals will only make contact with a single enemy, so if you try to land Blizzard magic on a single enemy at point-blank range, it won't be any more effective. While fire magic is used to light things outside of combat, Blizzard magic can be used for the opposite effect. You can douse pretty much any flame you come across with Blizzard magic. The magic candles in the First District Cafe in Traverse Town can only be fully extinguished with Blizzard, which will unlock the chest on the nearby wall. When you acquire Blizzara and Blizzaga magic, you can use it to put out the braziers at Olympus Coliseum to make 2 chests appear. One contains a powerful engine gummy, and the other gives you a very powerful accessory. During the fight with Trickmaster in Wonderland, you can lock onto this grate and cast Blizzard a few times to extinguish the stove. This prevents Trickmaster from lighting its batons and using any of its fire-based attacks in Phase 2, making it a much easier fight. And I'd be remiss if I didn't include this Kingdom Hearts community favorite. You can freeze these large bubbles in Hollow Bastion to convert them into platforms. This enables you to reach this very well-hidden treasure chest that contains a rare synthesis item. The power of your Blizzard spell is based on your max MP, and the spell's base power and range will increase each time you receive an upgrade for it. Sora learns Blizzard Magic either by finding the claw marks evidence or defeating the Trickmaster in Wonderland. This is upgraded to Blizzara when you defeat Jafar in Agrabah's Lamp Chamber. And Blizzaga Magic is earned by defeating the destroyed Behemoth in Seed 40 of the Hades Cup at Olympus Coliseum. Thunder Magic is next on our list, and it's really good for crowd control. This spell calls bolts of lightning to strike from above, and each bolt can hit a separate enemy. If you're locked on, the lightning bolts will strike down around that enemy, with the locked on target at the center of the spell's strike area. If you're not locked on, these lightning bolts will fall around Sora. Thunder is a good option for striking bunched up enemy groups from a distance, or if they're crowding you up close. But this spell requires one full MP unit, so you won't be able to cast it as often as Fire or Blizzard Magic. Thunder has a few uses outside of combat, like powering the exposed wires in Traverse Town's 3rd District. Casting Thunder here will power the platforms in the Gizmo Shop. This lets you reach the buttons that power the clock in the center of the room, and awards you with 2 postcards for doing so. You can also cast Thunder on these groups of flowers in Wonderland to reveal treasure chests with rare items. Thunder's power increases depending on your maximum MP, but it's actually a weaker spell than Fire and Blizzard in the early parts of the game, so it's best to stick with Blizzard for damaging groups of Heartless until later on. As you earn upgrades for this spell, its attack power and strike radius will increase. Sora can learn Thunder Magic from Phil in Olympus Coliseum after clearing his training exercises. This is upgraded to Thundara Magic after defeating Giant Ursula in Atlantica. And your final upgrade is awarded when you defeat Cerberus in the 30th seed of the Hades Cup in Olympus Coliseum. Cure Magic is probably the most important spell to learn in the game. This spell can be used to restore a portion of HP for yourself or another party member. When you select this spell from the menu, you'll have a list of targets to cast it on, with Sora always being the default option. Casting Cure takes a moment to go into effect, and this can be interrupted if you're hit by an enemy attack. Performing a short jump before you cast Cure is often faster than casting it from the ground, but you'll need to jump high enough for the spell to complete. If your jump is too short, you'll land before the heal goes through. If you have the Leaf Bracer ability equipped, it will keep you invincible while you're casting Cure, making it a crucial ability for tough fights. Donald learns Leaf Bracer at level 34, and Sora will learn it at a level determined by the dream weapon you picked at the start of your playthrough. Many longtime players will tell you that Donald doesn't cast Cure on Sora enough, but there's an in-game setting you can adjust to help with that. Open the Customize menu and you'll find Donald's combat presets. This will be set to Donald's personal preset by default, but there are several other presets to choose from, including one for recovery and defense. I actually prefer to adjust each setting manually to the setup shown here. This has Donald focus solely on healing and defensive magic. Casting Cure Magic will cost you 1 full unit of your MP, so it's wise to have at least 1 or 2 MP units on hand at all times in case you need to heal. The amount restored is calculated from your max MP, but for the most part, one cast of the spell should restore most of Sora's health. When the spell is upgraded, the amount of restored HP increases. Sora learns Cure Magic after defeating Clayton and the Stealth Sneak in Deep Jungle. This is upgraded to Cura when Captain Hook is encountered on the deck of his ship in Neverland. And Curaga Magic is given to you by Aerith in Hollow Bastion's library after sealing that world's keyhole. You'll need to talk to her 3 times. Next up is one of my favorite spells in the series. The Gravity spell creates a spherical field that removes a portion of HP from enemies that are inside it. This spell consumes 1 MP unit, and it's especially effective against larger enemies with more health and defense, like large bodies, defenders, and black fungus. Most boss enemies have a high resistance to it though, so don't expect it to cut down multiple bars of HP in those fights. Casting this spell while locked on will create a gravity field directly on that target, and casting without a target will place it directly in front of Sora. All enemies that are struck by the attack will be pulled to the ground and staggered for a short time. You can cast a string of gravity spells to keep enemies staggered and cut their HP down to almost nothing. The caveat with this spell is that it takes a while to go into effect after casting. HP is taken from enemies the moment the sphere starts to come apart, so you'll need to find the right timing and position to cast from if you want to hit enemies that are moving around. I wouldn't recommend using this spell against faster enemies like air soldiers unless you can bait them into a corner with you. Perform a short jump before casting to save some time, and it might prevent enemies from staggering you while casting too. One of my favorite uses for Gravity Magic is against White Knights. Hitting them with Gravity Magic will prevent them from using their annoying high jump. As for environmental uses, Gravity Magic really only has one. It can be used to pull down these floating platforms with treasure chests in Hollow Bastion, as well as this beehive during the Pooh's Muddy Path minigame in the 100-Acre Wood. Gravity Magic deals damage as a percentage of an enemy's current HP, with an additional percentage added depending on Sora's max MP. The radius of the gravity field and the percentage of HP sapped from enemies increases each time the spell is upgraded. Sora can first acquire Gravity Magic by clearing the Fill Cup at Olympus Coliseum with the entire party. The next upgrade is received after clearing the story episode in Halloween Town. And the final upgrade is earned by defeating Hades in the 10th seed of the Hades Cup at Olympus Coliseum. And now it's time for Stop Magic. This spell consumes 2 of your MP and freezes enemies in place for a short time. This can give you an opportunity to heal up or attack without retaliation from the stopped enemies. When the effect wears off, any enemies that were struck while Stop was active will take the accumulated damage all at once. You can combine this with 2 casts of Gravity Magic to instantly KO most lesser enemies. When Stop Magic is active, enemy HP is frozen too. And because gravity deals damage based on a percentage of the enemy's current HP, this lets you maximize the damage you deal with multiple casts. Stop Magic has a set area of effect. This is measured outward from the targeted enemy if you're locked onto one, or outward from Sora's position if nothing is targeted. This area of effect widens with each upgrade you receive to Stop Magic, but the duration of the spell actually stays the same regardless of which level of Stop Magic you have. The duration of your stop spell will be 2 seconds plus 1 additional second for every unit in your max MP. So if you want to have the effect last longer, equip a keychain and accessories that boost your MP stat. Some enemies have a resistance to Stop Magic, so they might not stay frozen for as long. If you cast Stop on an enemy that's already frozen, it won't stack the amount of time, but it will reset it for each cast. Your first opportunity to acquire Stop Magic appears when you defeat the Parasite Cage a second time in Monstro. You'll receive 1 upgrade by completing the episode at Pooh's Swing using the 3rd torn page in the 100-Acre Wood. And the final upgrade is awarded after defeating the Phantom at Neverland's Clock Tower. This final magic spell is definitely one of the most underrated. When Aero Magic is cast on a party member, it creates a wind barrier around them that cuts damage in half from most incoming attacks. This can be a huge help during encounters with many hard-hitting enemies, and especially during boss fights. When this is upgraded to Aurora, the wind barrier will damage enemies on contact. This can deal consistent chip damage to enemies and bosses, and it has the added benefit of staggering enemies that close in to attack. This sometimes saves you from taking damage entirely, and it gives you a chance to counterattack while the enemy is staggered. When you acquire Aero Magic, the barrier will automatically deflect most projectile attacks. This feature becomes especially useful when you need to farm enemies for synthesis materials later on. Aero Magic costs 2 MP per cast, and it's absolutely worth using for its benefits. The spell will last 18 seconds, plus 1 second for each unit of your max MP. So equip a keychain and accessories that boost MP if you want to extend the time that it's active. Casting Aero when it's already active on a party member will not stack the amount of time, but it will reset it for each cast. Your first chance at acquiring the power of wind is when you defeat the opposite armor in Traverse Town. 1 upgrade can be found in this treasure chest from the ship's hold in Neverland, but you'll need to unseal this yellow trinity to access the room. And the other upgrade is received after you return all 99 Dalmatian puppies to the Dalmatian's house in Traverse Town. And that's all you need to know to become a true wizard with magic in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Take some time to try all these spells out, and I promise it'll make your experience in combat a much better one. If you found this video helpful, cast the like and subscribe spell to see more videos like this one. Thanks to our guiding lights and shining beacons on Patreon for their support. Join us on Patreon to receive community perks and early access to future videos. You can also find me live streaming on Twitch as I continue work on new tutorials and other projects. And as always, you can find the best guides and walkthroughs to the Kingdom Hearts series at khguides.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.